Okay, so again, did not want to, oh, that's very light. Again, did not want to go on this walk this morning, but I'm trying to keep consistent, so here we are. And just a touch on the video from yesterday. It seems like everybody's on board. Rust and HTMX is a pretty decent combo. Don't yet know what I would do for an ORM for it. There's CORM and there's a few other things, but I haven't tried them. So with that said, databases, what is everybody even like preferring these days? There's so many different choices, and for a lot of smaller projects it kind of gets to the point where you don't really need anything specific. Even basic SQL, SQL will do the trick. I think for the e-commerce thing that's coming up, I'm probably going to do Django, just because the ORM is a lot easier to work with for smaller, or for basically anything. So I wanted to start incorporating more of the local LLM things, AI models into some of these tutorials for practical uses. I think the e-commerce site actually plays into that as well. Maybe like a custom ordering chatbot or something like that. Those are pretty simple examples to get going. But what kind of AI things would you want to see included in something like that? I've been trying to keep a lot of the examples pretty straight HTML, not using any kind of preprocessors or even a lot of JavaScript. But obviously for more full projects, you probably do want to have a little bit more functionality in there. HTMX is pretty easy to just, think in HTML, think in objects as far as HTML elements, and then send them out. But, if you're really trying to go the full SPA route without going React, then you do need some functionality. And I showed some demos with some basic JavaScript, and then also with Python. But again, I like to keep things simple. There's so many abstraction layers to a lot of these frameworks that are tossed around that kind of get in the way of some of the simple things that we try to put in there. So I almost forgot, kind of the whole point of these walks is a lot of fitness oriented things, and I wanted to try to include that in some of the projects. I just don't know if that's a very useful thing necessarily for some of you guys. I know that fitness is pretty big for everybody. Coders especially should be getting up and moving around, but as far as projects go, I don't know how useful that actually is. Hey, good morning. So I don't know how useful that actually is to anybody. I have no idea what this thing is, but it's always nice to look at. Kind of touching on what I mentioned in the other comments about Rust and bare metal embedded programming, basically, because I'm trying to do so long story short, lots of car camping last year, and I've been wanting to get back to it, and I wanted to start doing modifications and custom builds for that sort of thing. And HTMX is actually really good at making very quick work of GUIs for like dashboards and that sort of thing. So that might be something that I also feature here, depending on how many of you are outdoorsy people. As much as I love all the little tips and tricks tutorials, I feel like the project-based stuff is just a little bit more fun to put together for me, and then more enjoyable for you guys, because you get to put something together that actually works. So I am always on the lookout for suggestions. Wow, lit by moonlight.